Okay team, going into 2026, you either build a brand that's unforgettable or you get replaced. Because the harsh reality is that AI can already build insane products, create sick content, and it can even generate your face. But here's the thing, there are certain things, certain secret ingredients that even the most advanced AI can't replicate yet. You see, your personal brand is the only business asset that can't be copied, automated, or outsourced. And the creators who will win in the next decade, they're building content-led businesses that effectively use these 5 secret ingredients. And by the end of this video, you're going to have the 5 immutable laws of branding that will last the test of time. The same AI-proof secret ingredients that I've been using to turn a bunch of my clients within Creator X into category leaders. This video isn't about generating as many views as possible or some DM setting trick. This is your roadmap to building a cult-like audience of people who are on the same wavelength as you, and inevitably ending in more customers for your online business. Let's get into it. You can always spot the surface level creators. They're the ones that look like this. Lamborghinis, Rolexes, money spreads, that sort of thing. Or even the people who over-edit their content, make it look ridiculously flashy, and hide the fact that they're not very interesting with overly edited content. And the thing that all of these pieces of content have in common is that all of these brands, the ones that look like this, the ones that are over-edited, they're all based in image. But the problem with trying to maintain an image is that image is fragile. Having nice visuals within any brand is important, of course it is. But without any actual depth to that brand, as soon as you don't have something new and exciting to post, you're going to fade away. Because a real personal brand isn't built on the things you show people like this, right? It's built on what people feel when they watch your content. That might sound a bit waffly, but it's super important to build identity. And here's how you actually do that, right? Your brand should represent a feeling, a lifestyle, for example, a mission that you're kind of getting behind, a type of person that your audience aspires to become. You're creating an identity around your brand. For example, there's a huge difference between a creator that you've been watching for years, you love their content, you've been keeping up with the stuff they're doing, you love their personality, you love their style. There's a difference between them getting a Rolex and showcasing it because you know how much they've worked for it, you know how much you like them, it's a milestone for them. There's a difference between that and someone like this doing something like that, right? You actually have some sort of connection to this because there's depth there. Whereas this one, it just looks like they're flexing, right? One's flexing and one is storytelling. One is part of their brand journey. So what's important is to create identity around your brand. Because when you create an identity, you create a feeling or a movement that people want to become a part of. And the key thing is when you know what you stand for in terms of the lifestyle you want to live, the mission that you are aiming towards, and the identity that you want to embody within your brand, content creation side becomes a lot easier. For example, the identity that I'm building with my brand and Creator X is building freedom through content and systems. Travel, creativity, building a scalable business that runs clean and simple. That's my mission. That's the world I'm creating. That's the identity that I'm building. I call it the creatorpreneur. And once you know yours, you know who you're speaking to, you know the world you're building, the person you're trying to become, you stop guessing what content to create. It becomes a lot clearer. You stop trying to sound like everyone else. You start creating from a place of direction as opposed to desperation. Because smart people, high IQ buyers, do not chase quick money like this. They don't chase the shiny objects. They chase identity shifts. And as a result, your brand should be an extension of who you actually are. Not just a costume you put on for the internet. Humans don't just remember your name, they remember symbols. You know how, for example, you'll say, you know that guy with the wife beater and the acquisition.com hat? Oh yeah, Alex Hormozy. Or you'll say, oh, who's that superhero with the hammer? And you'll be like, oh, that's Thor. The same applies for you. You need to have those same symbols and those same things associated with your brand so people make those same connections. And there's actually a study that shows it, right? It's called the picture superiority effect. Our brains remember things we can see better than things we hear. It's actually quite interesting, to be fair. It's a guy called Alan Palvio's theory, right? When you see an image, your brain stores it as the visual version of it as well as the word version of it. So it commits it to memory twice, whereas with a word, it just commits it to memory once. So it's important that you have memorable visuals throughout your brand. For example, Nike has the swoosh, Apple has the bytes. And when you see these visuals, you automatically think about their brand, their values, the things they stand for. Obviously, your face is a great one to start with. That's a pretty unique visual anchor, but you obviously want other things as well. Now, I'm going to run through the visual brand symbols, and I'm also going to run through some different types of brand symbols as well. So let's start with the visuals, okay? It can be things like your tone, the way that you edit your videos, your typography, your editing style, the colors you use in the backgrounds of your videos, outfits you wear, locations you film in, and the background of your videos, right? Like I said. Other things you can do is verbal symbols. So for example, intellectual property. For example, within my videos, I use terms like creatorpreneur. I talk about Creator X, my program. I talk about content ecosystems. I talk about the 3x3x3 framework we use to build offers. I talk about all this unique intellectual property that no one else can speak about because it's part of our system. You can use specific catchphrases. I should probably come up with a catchphrase. I don't actually have one at the moment, but a lot of channels you watch probably have catchphrases or acronyms or frameworks that they use that are different to everyone else's. And if you heard it, you probably recognize the person. For example, Gary Vee has that jab, jab, hook thing. If you heard the word jab, jab, hook, you probably think of Gary Vee straight away, right? So we've got visuals, we've got verbal, and then we've got vibe. And this one's a bit more like airy-fairy, but it still makes sense. The intensity with which you communicate, the ways in which you communicate, the kind of vibe you give off in your videos, right? And this can make a big difference into like the people you attract and the kind of people that your content actually speaks to. So for example, look at the stark differences between the way that I Show Speed communicates with his audience, very high energy, very like stupid humor. Whereas Morgan Freeman, for example, if he started a podcast, is very slow, very relaxed, very chilled out, attracts a very different audience, right? So these are the 3 V's you want to use to develop iconic symbols for your brand: visuals, verbal, and vibe. Because if people can identify your brand before even seeing your face or hearing your name, that's when you have a real brand. At that point, you're no longer just a content creator, but you've built your own world, your own little corner of the internet. You've got a visual language, you've got a set of codes, and you've got a feeling around your brand that only exists in your little universe. Next up, people don't buy information, they buy understanding. And the bridge between those two things is storytelling. Now, the majority of content creators or coaches or people trying to sell stuff on Instagram, basically, will do something like this. They'll say, 5 ways to grow your audience, or don't do this to go viral, try this strategy, blah, 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 XYZ. This isn't actually creating any sort of connection with your audience whatsoever. It's just like, hey, you have this problem, here's the value to solve it, right? What the top 1% of creatorpreneurs do is, instead of just teaching straight value, they will demonstrate the transformation. Let me show you what I mean. They show you how they made the change, how they learnt about the value they're telling you, and they'll take you on a journey of kind of learning it for yourself. So instead of saying 5 ways to grow your audience, they might say, I posted for 2 years and barely got 500 followers, but this one shift helped me to hit 10K in 3 months. You see this happen all the time. And by doing that, you're instantly telling a story. People know more about you. They care more about you. They want to hear the outcome of the story than you just saying, like, you could generate this on ChatGPT, right? Whereas this, it's insights, it's personal, it's a story that only you can tell. And this one line carries so much more weight than a reel like this would, okay? It's a personal connection. It's evidence that you've been there and done it, which gives you authority. And it also is a lot more interesting to listen to. So bottom line is, storytelling makes your lessons and your insight and your value actually stick within an audience's mind. Because another benefit of telling stories around the value you're providing is that people can visualize it in your mind. If I say top 5 ways to grow your audience, it's like, great, that's just like a hook. But if I say I posted for 2 years, I got 500 followers, then one shift helped me to hit 10K within 3 months. You can add visuals for that. You can show what happened. You can show how you did it. You know, you can actually create visuals in people's minds. And again, when people can visualize things, it sticks to their memory better. And another thing to remember about sharing stories is you don't have to just tell the good ones, right? The best brands share contrast. So they'll show the time they got completely rejected in a sales call, or their content flopped right at the start, or they launched a product and it got no sales. Because the reality is, people don't connect with perfect people. If you don't have any chinks in your armor, if you don't have any flaws, people aren't going to relate to that. Whereas if you show the failures, you show the actual negatives of your experience, people are going to connect to that more. They're going to connect to the progress you've made. They're going to see that you were where they are now, and that you've got to where they want to be. And that's what they're going to resonate with. That's what they're going to aspire to do, aspire to be like. And that's what's going to build that connection. Your audience doesn't want a guru. They want a guide. They want someone who's been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and is now going to show them how to do it with a clear roadmap. And being vulnerable with your experience is showing that you were there in the first place. Surface level content builds a surface level brand. Most creators are trapped in the shallow end, chasing the algorithm, trying to get as many views, and think that having a high follower count means that they have authority, right? But let's be honest, if you're watching this video, by now you probably realize that getting views and followers, oh, goodness me. Getting views and followers does not mean you're going to make money, right? Full stop. When people say content is king, what they actually should be saying is that depth equals king. All right. Depth is king. Because the deeper somebody goes into your world, for example, on your email list, on your lead magnets, watching your YouTube, the deeper they go into your ecosystem, into your world, the harder it is for them to leave, and the more they're going to feel connected with you over time because they're being hit from more different angles, more different touch points. This is how I tend to think about depth within your brand. I'll call it something very creative, the brand depth framework, right? So we've got 3 layers. The first one is attracting. Okay, so this is stuff like short form content, reels, hooks, breaking the pattern, maybe running some ads. This is where people first notice you. They first see you. They become aware of the problem you solve. This is basically just getting your foot in the door, right? You might hit them with a pain point, pique their interest, get the follow. The key thing here really is getting the follow on Instagram. Once we've gained that follower, preferably a qualified one, we can then connect with them. This is oh my God, my chair's like sinking down. I swear. Once we've got the follow, like I said, we can connect with them on a human level. So that's where things like story sequences, storytelling, reels, daily Instagram content, YouTube content, etc. That's where that stuff comes in handy because you're showing up every day, building a connection with people, providing value, building up that reciprocity, spending time with people, breaking down that 7-11-4 rule, which we've spoken about in other videos, right? And the idea here is that we're connecting with them on a more human level, so they know, like, and trust us. And we're also getting them to the point where they think, right, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. This guy understands my problem and he is able to solve it, right? But they're not 100% that you can solve it. And that is where the third section comes in, which is the conversion section, where they become solution aware and they become aware of your ability to solve the problem. So this is your deeper form content, all right? So we've got things like case studies, client results, behind the scenes, email posts, school community posts, and then call to actions, all right? This is where people stop seeing you as a creator and start seeing you as an authority figure who can solve their problems. This is where we're going to drive up the urgency and get people to actually buy from you. And each layer of this pulls people deeper into your content ecosystem so that by the time they're here, they're ready to buy, they know who you are, they trust you, they like you, they've seen your results, they know how much your product costs, and they're ready to pull the trigger. The more touch points they experience, the more they trust you. Until they're not just watching your content, they're actually inside your ecosystem. That's the difference between a content creator and a category leader. The goal isn't to be liked by anyone, okay? The internet does not reward neutrality. If you want to be magnetic with your personal brand, meaning that you actually want people to care about what you have to say and stick around for the long run, you need to be polarizing. You have to have something to say. Okay, all the strongest brands are polarizing. And that doesn't mean that they just create controversy and say outlandish things for the sake of it. And don't get me wrong, a lot of creators do that, and it just looks trashy and stupid. But being polarizing as a personal brand means that you have conviction in what you're saying. Okay, you stand for something, you mean what you say, and you say it with conviction. It means that you're going against popular ideas. You're saying this is wrong, this is right. Not just for the sake of it, because it's what you actually believe, it's what you actually stand for, right? The amount of people I see getting political just for the sake of getting views and creating polarity, that's not how you build a brand long term, right? It's just going to get people to just get angry with you. Don't just say shit for the sake of it. Instead, pick your core ideas that you stand for as a brand, as a creator, and stand by them, okay? Say they're right. Say other things that you don't agree with are wrong, okay? Stand by what you mean. And a lot of people think that when you do this, you're going to push people away. You're going to lose followers because you say the wrong thing, okay? If anything, that's a good thing, right? You don't want people to be aligned with your ethos, that don't align with your brand mentality, your cult identity, right? So when you lose people, you're actually purifying your audience. You're making it more suited to your brand and your products. Because when you stand by what you say and you actually mean it, you speak with conviction, you are your full authentic self, the more people see themselves in you and the things you're saying, the more people align with your content. And again, I've been saying throughout this whole video, the more people align with your content, the more people trust you and like you as a creator, the more likely they are to opt in to buy your products at the end of the day. That's the difference between just marketing to everyone and creating a movement. Now, in 2025, building a personal brand isn't just not an option. You need to do it. I genuinely believe that it's the only thing that's going to separate you from everyone else when AI starts picking up pace, which it already has. It's ridiculous at the moment, some of the stuff I'm seeing on my For You page. But building a truly good personal brand can allow you to start a business. It can allow you to unlock unreal opportunities. It can allow you to connect with people. It allows you to charge more, work with better clients, right? Building a brand is not about going viral. It's about building something that lasts the test of time. A message, a movement, your legacy. You don't need more marketing tactics. You don't need a new funnel. You don't need more flashy content hooks, right? That's not what you need. You need alignment in who you are, what value you bring to the world, what content you can create, what you're actually building. And that's exactly what we do inside CreatorX. We help creators turn their expertise into authority, their content into systems, and their audience into clients. And if that sounds like something you want, DM me the word system on Instagram. I'll send you some more information about the next launch of CreatorX, or you can book in a free strategy call below to learn more. And if you want to start small and don't want to make a big commitment right now, there's a free personal branding guide in the description which breaks down a load of information. I spent a load of time putting that together, so go and check it out if you want to. Your personal brand is going to exist either way. It just comes down to whether you want to control it or just be a feather in the wind. Anyway, I'm going to be posting a bit more regularly on YouTube, so I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.